The World Bank just came out and said COVID cost $18 trillion. $18 trillion in lost economic growth. Woke takes over, it ruins everything. Woke takes over and it destroys the boys. Woke takes over and Game of Thrones is gone. Woke takes over and all of a sudden there's non-binary zombies of color and Walking Dead. It's two Chinese people that are funding almost the entire trans movement in America. Two Chinese billionaires. You can have the USA or you can have a three-letter agency. You can't have them both.
Everyone's a victim!
Lawfare is going to be the saddest, goofiest, nerdiest ending this empire could have ever had. When we think of America, we think of the ideal human endeavor. We think of people exercising self-governance. We think of noble, fought wars for right causes. Yeah, we know it's all bullshit. But at the same time, this is like kind of how we think of ourselves. We think of ourselves as that bright, shining beacon on the hill. And, you know, if we were to lose in some combat with some foe, if we were to engage in a war to the end with China or Russia, there's some nobility in that. If we were to break apart into a civil war and break into 4 or 5 different countries, you know what? There's some nobility in that. But if the end of the American experiment is going to be a bunch of goober nerds suing each other and rigging elections, God, what a shitty ending to the movie, man. That's Game of Thrones level bad. Like the first 5 seasons of America were dope. And then the last 2 seasons have just been, hey, look, this is what happens. Woke takes over, it ruins everything. Name me a show and woke has ruined it. Woke takes over and it destroys the boys. Woke takes over and Game of Thrones is gone. Woke takes over and all of a sudden there's non-binary zombies of color and Walking Dead. There's something called the SAVE Act that's being put through Congress right now that Biden's White House has come out vehemently against it. And the SAVE Act is very simple. It says it codifies that only American citizens can vote in American elections. Now, the Democrats say that's ridiculous. It's already illegal for non-citizens to vote. We don't need this rule. To which everybody says, well, it was illegal for them to come here in the first place, yet here 30 million of them are. And here's the thing. I have nothing against immigrants at all. I like them. I would actually take most of them, hardworking people who want to be in America. I just wish we got to send one of these commie nitwits back the other way. Okay? I don't want the Berkeley white guy who sits there thinking Marx is the pinnacle of human thought to have 2 votes now, because that's the thing. It has nothing to do with the illegal actually voting. They probably won't vote, but they'll be on the voter roll. So somebody can cheat with them. And don't think for a second that's not what this is about. Not what this is about. Joe Biden, 4 years ago, got 81 million votes. Never even came out of his basement. Never even came out of his basement to campaign. 81 million votes were counted on his behalf. Now, 4 years later, runaway inflation, prices 3 times higher, multiple international wars, no end in sight, and he poops his pants. And the world is just not as mad at Trump as they were. They're just not. There's people that still hate him, sure. There's people that will always hate him. They'll always have Joy Behar and, all those piss pants Hollywood liberals. But the rest of the world's kind of come around to the idea of like, you know what, man, you can grab me by the coochie if I can go back to $1.50 gas. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I'm all right with it. I'm all right with these stupid speeches. They're the dumbest speeches. As long as I can afford groceries. As long as I think my cities will be somewhat safe. As long as it doesn't feel like my country is being sold out from underneath me to international interests. So Trump got 72 million votes last time. And he feels like he got cheated, so he's definitely going to cheat this time. Don't get it twisted. They're going to pull out all the stops. I bet you Trump comes in somewhere around 83 million votes. So Biden's going to have to get at least 86 or 87. So now we're getting up to, what, 170 votes? How many registered voters are there in America, Christian? Like 175? Like what? Like it's going to be insane. We're going to count more votes in this next election than there are registered voters. It's going to be a travesty. It's going to be a mockery, and we've already seen how it's going to play out, and it's going to play out in the courts. It's this lawfare, this garbage nerd lawfare. Oh, if we just take all their money, they won't be able to campaign. It doesn't matter if we win. We have to take all their resources. We have to take all their time. We have to tie them up in law. It's everything that has ruined America. When we look back at and we say, man, what the heck happened here? We're going to look back and we're going to say lawyers, activist lawyers, and power-hungry lawyers who turned politicians, who used the law as a weapon against people who disagree with them, their fellow man. It's disgusting. Robert F. Kennedy is running for president of the United States. Like it or not, he's running, and he's polling high. He's polling in the tens. There's a scenario where Kennedy could backdoor his way into this thing. And this is a man whose father was assassinated, whose uncle was assassinated. And Joe Biden and the For the People Democrats will not provide him with Secret Service protection. First time it's ever been denied to a presidential candidate that was polling this high. Ever. And I got to sit here and listen to these media kiss asses. Joe Biden's a good man. He's a good man, but he needs to step down. Joe Biden is a good man. He served his country. He is not a good man. Stop it. He's not a good man. This is a career politician, a career public servant who sold you out, sold access. His crackhead son went on a world tour banging hookers and accepting bribes. He's a good man. He's a good man, and he's done right by his country. What are you, nuts? I got to tell you, man, Republicans piss me off because they're just useless. They're feckless. They got no spine. They're controlled opposition. They're the Washington Generals to the Democrats' Harlem Globetrotters. They're just there so that the Democrats have someone to play against. And they hope they get a couple bucks when they go on, MSNBC and be a professional punching bag, or then they become a lobbyist at the end and they get I get to go to the Boeing parties. Boeing is accused of killing 2 whistleblowers and using negligence to cover up planes crashing that I think have caused 600 deaths. They got $455 million slap on the wrist. Alex Jones was wrong reporting about Sandy Hook. He has $1 billion judgment against him. Come on, what are we talking about here, people? Alex Jones has $1 billion, and he was wrong. He was an asshole. No doubt about it. But if you're wrong, it's $1 billion? So Rachel Maddow, how much was she wrong about? Anderson Cooper, how much was he wrong about? Every single buddy who lied. Joe Biden does backflips, and he had a bad night, but he had a cold. Well, you should know Joe like I know Joe. He's as sprite as a young 65-year-old. Lies. Manipulations. And the press remembered that they're the press and not PR for the Democrats for 1 second. And they asked Karine Jean-Pierre, eyeballs out to here, questions she didn't like, and she started chastising them. She turned herself into the stop it. You're only allowed to ask the questions I've pre-approved. Nancy Pelosi asks a black reporter, this is the woman who took a knee for George Floyd, Said we've been run by rich white men for too long. Okay, sister. Okay, Sister Nancy. You get cornered by an ABC reporter. It's in the DMs, Chris. And you say, I'm not going to answer any questions in the hallway. I'm not going to answer any questions about the future of our democracy in the hallway. And then he turns, looks at a black woman in the face and goes, do you speak English? Can you imagine? Can you imagine if this was a white guy Republican? Can you imagine?
What you said this morning. I'm not having any conversations with you or anybody else.
I'm not having this conversation with you or anybody. She thinks she's the queen. You are a public servant.
I never did, so it's nothing new.
I understand, Madam Speaker. Do you
Madam
believe
Speaker.
that him waiting so long?
She ain't the speaker no more.
Making any comments in the hallway about the fate of our nation.
The fate of our nation.
Are you concerned whether or not he can win in November?
I think he can.
Because I think we could cheat him
Do you
again.
believe he should run for re-election?
I'm not. Am I speaking English to you?
Am I speaking in English? Excuse me. Excuse me. Are you a Mexican? Am I speaking English? Nancy's all hot that they came out and they said that they're not going to allow Congress to trade anymore. This is a bad day for Nancy. Nancy's made herself $300 million off of insider trading. God, their arrogance gets me so upset. They think they are our ruling class. They think they are the aristocrats. How dare you ask me a question? Bitch, you work for us. You'll answer whatever questions we ask or quit. Quit the job. Who do you think you are? These people, they're grotesque. They're grotesque.
We got a comment from TJ Pedersen saying she seriously might be the only one more corrupt than Hillary.
TJ Peterson, hope you're doing great, man. Shout out to TJ Peterson. Shout out to everybody working, trying to get through this Wednesday. You poor bastards. Every dollar you made today, boys, every dollar you made until noon goes to that shit show. Every dollar you made from 9 a.m. to noon is taxed and goes to that. Your ruling class who will not answer your questions. I will not answer questions. Who do you think you are? Your money paid for AOC and her big old titties, her flat ass big titties, to serve impeachment papers, articles of impeachment to Supreme Court justices that she doesn't like. Is this the future now? Is this the future? Is there no decorum anymore? Is the future just, if you can't beat them, sue them? It's happening in Brazil. The left is charging Bolsonaro with crimes. It happened here with America. Trump was charged with every crime, and then they realized we don't like that. His ratings went up, and then they stopped it. They cooled it off for a little bit. Merrick Garland's been caught lying about that on tape and on record. Nothing will happen to him because Republicans have no spine. Marine Le Pen, who got cheated out of the French election, now they're investigating her. Dude, this has happened before. This is Bolshevik tactics. This happened in communist Russia. This happened during Mao's Cultural Revolution. Every single communist takeover, this happens. Every single dictatorship delegitimizes the opposition before eliminating the opposition. And when there's no opposition, who then becomes their enemy? You. When there's no buffer between the tyrant and the population becomes the enemy. You, me, us. Does Nancy Pelosi look like the type of person who is serving us? Was that the attitude of service to the public? Or was that the attitude of the Duchess of Ice Creamingham? How dare you peasants? How dare you peasants interrupt my walk in the hallway? I'll speak when I'm good and damn ready. Get back to the farm. Wake up, folks. Wake up. If they're not serving you, what are they doing? Who are they serving? If our civil servants are not serving us, who are they serving? To what end? And if our civil servants act like a ruling class, act like kings and queens and dukes and duchesses, what does that make us? What does that make us if we have to beg forgiveness from the Lord and Lady of the hallway? Is that what you signed up for? To be a lower class peasant? To pledge fealty to the crown? You already give half your life to them. No questions asked. Take the taxes. Then you give more taxes every time you spend money. The money that you made that was already taxed, you go to spend it, 8% sales tax. Then you want to say, nah, I'm not doing this. I'm not working for somebody else. I'm going to do my own thing. Okay? You hire somebody. Payroll tax. What? I get taxed for hiring somebody? That's crazy. So you're going to charge me for giving somebody else a job? Property tax? I thought I owned this property. Nah, dude. You're just renting it from the crown. No, this is crazy. I paid this property off. No, you didn't. You owe property tax for the rest of forever. This ain't your land. This land is not your land. This land is not my land. From the ocean to the New York Island, it's their shit. We've let it get out of hand. We've let it go on for too long, for too far. And they do not have any sense that they are going too far because they've never been stopped. When they burnt down our cities, nothing happened to them. Nothing. They're making it very, very clear. Pick a side. The Democrats are the side where it doesn't matter. No matter what you do, you're good. Membership has its perks, which is why I feel to this day, anybody that lived through the last 5 years, 10 years, and is still a Democrat, get him out of your life. That person's not to be trusted. Now, that may be harsh, and this is not an endorsement of Republicans. Everybody should be an independent. Everybody should be for sale. Everybody should be, first anti-communist, second anti-whatever this establishment is, and then third, we'll figure it out from there. Let's get this regime out of power, and then we'll figure it out. If the Republicans are who we have to get to get this regime out of power, fine. Temporary alignment.
I got a question.
Uh-huh.
What are you registered as a voter for? Like, under what party are you registered?
Independent. I'm a registered independent.
Okay, because I think I just registered for that when I got my new license here, and there were literally 15 screens I had to click through to get to that.
Well, they automatically register people now. Green cards, crazy enough, people that don't even speak English are automatically registered to vote. So, our international agencies, our international conglomerates, NATO, the IMF, the UN, are meddling. They are taking over. This is a global conspiracy. I know what that sounds like. I get it. But the evidence is so clear, guys. The evidence is so clear. George Carlin said it, man. It's a big club and you ain't in it. Look at who just got engaged over the weekend. Huma Abedin, who a lot of people think used to be Hillary Clinton's lover, the former wife of none other than Anthony Weiner, who is being groomed to be the next president of the United States. He was going to be the mayor of New York. And then he had a laptop that was so bad. When they found the laptop of him, and they found it because he was sending dick pics to 15-year-old girls, they found that laptop. It was so bad. I think it's up to 6 of the police officers who looked at the laptop have committed suicide. You can look that up. And I can say a word right now that'll get me kicked off of YouTube, and I will. I don't give a shit. Frazzled.rip. Go down that rabbit hole. James Comey, a far leftist, a regime cog, thought it was so grotesque what they found on that laptop from hell that he actually had to come out and talk about Hillary Clinton months before the election. Reopen the investigation. She's never forgiven him for that. So I know Comey sleeps with at least one eye open if he sleeps at all. And you're going to tell me Huma Abedin didn't know anything? She was a victim in all this? Maybe. Who'd she just marry? Oh, George Soros' son, Alex. Or got engaged, I should say. I don't know. Whatever. Imagine the smell at that, the smell of sulfur at that wedding ceremony. It's an inbred globalist conspiracy. Adam Schiff's brother, what is it? George Soros' other son is married to Adam Schiff's sister. Like it's an inbred cabal. It's a big cult. It's a global communist cult, man. They want a one world government, and they're going to sit at the head of the table. And we useless feeders are not going to ruin this earth for them. They will have us eating cricket powder before we ruin the protein for them. Look around you. Like, people still think, this whole July 4th, people still think this election's going to be like, what's changed since 2020? Somebody tell me. There's a couple of now, in fairness, there's a couple people actually having some spine. Georgia said every vote has to be counted by hand. Every vote has to be counted by hand. We saw what that does in Florida. Ron DeSantis won by barely 1% 2 elections ago. This last election, you had to show voter ID. That was the only change that they made. You had to show voter ID. You had to show your ID when you voted. He won by almost 30 points. That's how big the cheating is. People cannot wrap their minds around the scope of what ballot harvesting is, how many tens of thousands of votes one person who's working full-time at this can account for. People do not understand what ballot harvesting is. The people aren't being held accountable, so it's going to be worse. It's going to be worse. We need to be prepared, man. We need to be prepared. Or maybe we just give up. Be the peasants. Be the farmers. Maybe that's not such a bad life. I don't know. Maybe we just go back to, not wearing shoes, having nerd on our knees. The beginning of Braveheart didn't look so bad, right? Those people looked like they were having fun. I mean, it's just until the Duke comes on your wedding night and claims prima nocta on your beautiful young wife, that things start getting a little iffy. I just don't like anybody who still trusts a Democrat, somebody who self-identifies as a Democrat after these last 5 to 10 years. How can you trust them? Their people have been caught lying and manipulating every single step of the way on everything. Think of something that they haven't destroyed. Healthcare. Everybody mistrusts healthcare now. Okay? Education. Everybody mistrusts education. Did you see that? Did you see the NEA, that crazy speech the lady gave? We need all the things, all the things, all the things. We deserve all the things, and we're going to get all the things because that's who we are. I thought you were teachers. My God almighty. What happened to education in America? This is crazy. It's nothing more than an ideological cult. It's a crazed cult of personality that is just there to feed the machine. Has nothing to do with educating your children. 100 black people are shot, 14 are killed over the 4th of July weekend in Chicago. The mayor of Chicago blames Richard Nixon. The last Republican mayor of Chicago, I believe, was 1910. It's been Democrat for over 110 years. He blames Richard Nixon for what's going wrong in the city. The same guy who got caught using $30,000 of taxpayer money for haircuts. Didn't even deny it. Said, yeah, I support black female-owned businesses. You should too. The audacity. I got to celebrate the audacity. You can't even be mad. You can't even be mad with that black privilege. What are you going to do about it? Huh? Yeah, I spent $30,000 on my side bitch's haircut. What are you going to do about it? Punk ass. Nancy Pelosi, I'll answer questions when I feel like answering questions. Punk ass. What are you going to do about it? Fair play. What have we done about it? Nothing. We are a bunch of bitches. Fair play. Yeah, we're going to rig another election. What are you going to do about it? Probably not a goddamn thing. Fair enough. All I can do is ask for lube. And then we go grabbing those ankles, because that's all we do. That's all we ever do. I mean, we'll whine, we'll complain, we'll bitch, we'll moan, we'll podcast, but what do we ever actually do? Nothing. We don't do a damn thing about it. So why on earth would it change? Why would it change? How much more evidence do you need? How much evidence can I show you? They think we're a bunch of punks. Because we are a bunch of punks. We sit there acting tough. They try to march in my town. Why would they march in your suburban town? They don't need it. They need the city. 2 cities in the state, the whole state doesn't matter. The whole rest of the state doesn't matter. They get 2 cities. They get every vote in 2 cities. Everybody else might as well not exist. People think Trump's going to win in a landslide in 2024. They think November is going to be this big day of reckoning. I will believe it when I see it. You don't know what you're up against. We're talking about the CIA. We're talking about the NSA. We're talking about NATO. We're talking about the United Nations. We're talking about the FBI. We're talking about the World Bank. We're talking about the Department of Homeland Security. We're talking about the international apparatus that brought down the Soviet Union, that has now turned all of its eyes, attention, and expertise on us, the American citizen, the middle-class white person. They are coming after us. The small business owner, anybody that they can't bring to heel, the disobedient. We have been targeted and we will be punished. We will be brought to heel. And you think your orange daddy's going to save you? I'll believe it when I see it. Even when there's sparks of hope, even when there are sparks of hope, you know, populist uprisings like Brexit. The next thing you know, 10 million immigrants are brought in. London has an Arab mayor. Well, they showed you, London. They showed you. People can't walk down the streets of their own city. Rape is up some, I don't know off the top of my head, some astronomical number in London. They showed you. They punished you.
Got a great number for you.
Go for it.
So in 2020, 2021, it was 18,000. 2021 to 2022, it was 25,000. I don't know what it is now, but that's on the upward.
There was a 35% increase in rape in 1 year. 35%. And what'd they do about it? Nothing. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. A 12-year-old girl, where was it? In New Mexico, 12-year-old girl was raped and killed in New Mexico by an illegal immigrant. The judge blamed Trump. At least I got to give credit to that reporter. The reporter at least called her on her bullshit. The reporter was like, you asked everybody not to politicize this and you blame Trump? And no, what I'm saying is, we've let these liberal women whine, manipulate, scream their way into the destruction of our nation. So we deserve to lose it. We're afraid to tick off the worst humans on earth. The rich, white, liberal woman is the worst human being on planet Earth. On planet Earth. There's no worse. There is no worse person. There is nobody that adds less value. What do? Do they build anything? Do they pick up garbage? Like what? Like think about it. I want you to think about this for a second. Think of the rich white girls you know in your life. What jobs do they have? Marketing. What is that? How is that adding value to this world? Coming up with a fun slogan. The color palette for your brand is so important. That'll be $50,000. Okay. And yet they are the ones determining. They're not the ones putting brick on top of brick. They're not the ones out here in 90-degree heat roofing. They're not laying down the asphalt on the streets. They're not engineering. The few of them that are doctors tend to be activists, and the next thing you know, there's more female doctors and we're celebrating STEM, and it's, oh, men can have a cervix. Men can be pregnant too. Oh, fuck. Gerard, you hate women. No, I don't. I love women, but what the fuck, guys? Like, can we at least say, like, what are we doing here? Can we at least, as men, say, dude, enough. We get it. You hate your father. Stop. You're gonna run this car off the cliff. Stop. Abortion is not worth 90% tax rates. My God. Stop. And Republicans, hold on a second. Republicans, stop with the abortion. Stop. If they want to kill their baby, kill your baby. Whatever. Do it. But the rest of it, they tie everything into that. You can't lose everything on that one subject. If these liberals want to off future liberals, more power to them. No skin off my ass. What?
Travis Rydal says, fire TED Talk right here. Wish my fam would listen, but the subject matter is probably too black belt for them.
Well, probably. Oh, I respect you. I wish I could be white-pilled, man. I really do. I wish I could. I really do. I wish I would see the progress I would need to be white-pilled. I don't want to sit here and be, doomsday every damn day. I coming off of loving America, 4th of July, everybody having a good time, and I'm looking here and I'm looking at France being stolen, and I don't see a single French flag, and I'm like, my God Almighty, this global organization is so good at this. They have been doing color revolutions. They have been rigging elections since the 40s. The CIA admits its first rigged election. Chris, I don't want to get this wrong. Look it up, please. The CIA, I believe, admits its first rigged election was 1945 in Italy. Am I right about that? Somewhere around then. Maybe I'm getting a little Joe Biden in my older years here. Maybe it was 54, but for some reason I remember 45 in Italy. And they admit, yeah, we did it. Kind of proud of it, frankly. Wasn't easy to do. High five. And they have since been rigging elections on every continent on this planet.
It was 1948.
48, not 45. CIA admits 1948 they rigged it. 1948. 70 years. They're so good at this. They've got it down to a science. They've got color revolution down to a science. Paint by numbers. The CIA, the the NATO, the UN, the IMF, the World Bank, the Bilderberg Group, the World Economic Forum, whatever name you want to give them, it's the same fucking people. They've got this down to a science. And they're funded out the ass. They are funded. George Soros, $1 billion money. Bill Gates, $1 billion money. The King of England, whatever, blank check, whatever you need. How much does it cost to pay for protesters to burn down a city in America? Blank check. We don't even want to know where the money coming for these paid protesters are. Wouldn't that seem like, I don't know, what's the word? An insurrection? If another country is paying people to burn down your cities, if another country is paying people to tent up your cities, if another country is paying the trans epidemic, it's two Chinese people that are funding almost the entire trans movement in America. Two Chinese billionaires. Your 8-year-old is being inundated with questions about their gender and sexuality that they have no concept of being able to grasp or understand at that age. They're being taught to deny everything in their biology and their instincts are telling them, to weaken themselves, to sterilize themselves by our greatest enemy. Nobody cares? Nobody wants to get to the bottom of this? Nobody wants to hold anybody accountable? Why? Why? $18 trillion? I believe the World Bank just came out and said COVID cost $18 trillion. $18 trillion in lost economic growth. That's a generation of wealth. Gone. We don't want to get to the bottom of it. Who made what decisions? What were their motivations? It's fine. Let's just move on. Don't want to hold China accountable for leaking a global pandemic from their labs? Nah. Don't ask too many questions because why? Why? Well, because then we're going to find out we had a lot to do with it. And when I say we, I mean them. The blob. These 3-letter agencies. You can have the USA or you can have a 3-letter agency. You can't have them both. We only got room for 3 letters. USA. We don't have room for USA and FBI, USA and CIA, USA and CDC, USA and NIH, USC and 3-letter agencies. Evil, boy. Evil bureaucrats. Unelected, unaccountable bureaucrats. We don't even know who the head of the CIA is. 99% of people have no idea. Who's running the FBI? Nobody has any idea. Who's the head of the NIH? No one has any idea. Who's running the CDC? Nobody has any idea. What are these people's qualifications? They have so much power. They have unlimited budgets. Your money. Your money. Paid for with the hours of your life. Somebody wants to ask a question. How dare you ask me a question in the hallway? Peasant. Just sign the check. Mafia style. Man. Comfort made wolves poodles, man. We're poodles. We are a poodle generation. I'm a poodle. I'm not flipping over the apple cart. My ancestors used to hunt mammoths with spears. I whine into a microphone. I'd love to be white-pilled, brother. I would love it. Show me the progress. Show me the people coming together. Show me the organization. Show me the funding. I get momentarily white-pilled when I see actual patriots beating the hell out of, Patriot Front or whatever, all those Fed boys. Oh, yeah, we're a bunch of white supremacists who like to get together on the weekend and wear tucked-in shirts and masks. Fucking nerds. That's not how angry white people act. It's like the big problem with all these feds. They're all Ivy League nerds now. They all come from Ivy Leagues. They've never lived a day on the streets. It's not how angry white people act. Angry white people send each other brutal memes and say slightly racist shit while playing Call of Duty. That's how angry white people spend their weekends. They bet way too much money on sports because they don't believe that their money's going to be worth anything in 5 years anyway, and then they drink themselves to sleep. That's how angry white people act. They don't get together, wear tucked-in polo shirts, masks, and go marching in Nashville. We're taking our country back, brother. Hey, buddy, you dropped your badge. Oh, what? Oh, no, what badge? What are you talking about? You fucking nerd. Masks. Conservative Action Front, Patriot Front, the Proud Boys. You think conservatives are wearing masks? I wouldn't even wear a mask if I was robbing a bank. What are you, nuts? I'm never wearing a mask again in my life. I would drywall. I would raw dog drywall, give myself asbestos breath before I wore a mask again. Conservative Action Group. Shut up. That's why people hate the media. And however much you hate the media, it is not enough. And I'm telling you, get Democrats out of your life. They are not to be trusted. How could they be lied to this much and still be on the team? How could they listen to the lies and the manipulation and the coercion, the censorship, and then literally have the temerity to look at you and say, well, it doesn't matter that our guy is senile. The other guy's a fascist. What? If Trump gets into office, what's the worst that'll happen? He'll censor his opponents. He'll use lawfare against his opponents. He'll work with companies. Like everything that you're doing right now is a worst case scenario for him getting elected. Don't trust these people. These people are dangerous, dangerous idiots. These are the type of people that would turn you into the government because they think it would be for your own good. Eliminate these people from your life. They are not your friend. They are not to be trusted. They know the government lied about Vietnam. They know the government lied about Iran-Contra. They know the government lied about Fast and Furious with Obama. They know the government lied about weapons of mass destruction, Afghanistan. They know the government lied about Iraq. They know the government fucked up the Afghan withdrawal, but they're absolutely 100% telling the truth about Ukraine. You're crazy to think otherwise. These are dangerous idiots. Get them out of your life. They are a danger. They are a threat to you and your family's well-being. Eliminate them from your life. Well, the people that were wrong about everything for the last 5 years said that I should trust this and that you're actually lying. I know you were proven right about literally everything for the last 5 years, but I don't know. The View says you're wrong, so I'm just going to go with them. Dangerous idiot. Get them out of your life. Danger. There's no saving them. There's no rehabilitating them. The type of person that will always bring up politics, and then you have a counterpoint to be like, well, you can't, why are we even talking politics? I can't talk politics with you. Bitch, you said it. Get them out of your life. They just want to feel better than you. They don't know anything. They're dumb. They just want to feel better than you. They didn't go to college to learn anything. They went to college so that they could tell people, I went to this college. As if what college you go to matters anymore. It's all the same shit. Anybody who goes to college anymore, unless you're there on a scholarship or to play a sport, you are wasting your time. It is a waste of time. You have everything college could teach you in the Pocket Genie. Hey, Pocket Genie, can you teach me about the War of 1812? Done. Just saved you $5,000 in a credit there. No, but they don't sell that, do they? They're not really selling education anymore. They're selling 5 years of fucking turning your pussy into a petri dish. They're selling Rumspringa. If that's what you want, go bartend. Go move down to Belize and bartend. Read a book. Make money while you're doing it. Come back and be an entrepreneur. Be your own boss. Start your family. Control your life. Do not be beholden to these people. These people are evil and they do not have your best interest in mind. They don't care about you. They would step over you in the street to get to an international donor. You have to make these people have the smallest amount of impact possible in your life. And then we have to come together and limit their scope, limit their power. Because it's not them as individuals. It's this structure. It's this corrupt temple. Power attracts the worst and it corrupts the best. Our founding fathers knew this. They lived through it. They fought it. And that's why they made it as difficult as possible to govern. Why does our government hate the Constitution? Because it was the first set of rules ever written against a government, not its people. Think about that. That is the beauty of the Constitution. Right? Even the 10 Commandments, right? Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not steal. Laws for you. What's the Constitution? What's the Bill of Rights? Government shall make no law. It's laws against them. The First Amendment protects our speech against them. You can walk right up to them and be like, Nancy Pelosi, you big-tittied fucking corrupt bitch, I wish you were dead. And in our government, she can't do a damn thing about it. Although now, she can go to Google and she can go to YouTube and she can go to Instagram and she can go to Meta and say, take down that evil man for misinformation. He's spreading insurgency. And they'll do it. To which I blame Republicans because we have no other option. You think I want to be on these platforms? I hate these platforms. You hate these platforms. What other option have they given us? The Constitution needs defending because it protects us from them. That's why they hate it. And when I hear other citizens going, it's outdated. It was made by 18-year-old men. No, it wasn't. First of all, moron, the Declaration of Independence was what? 14 years before the Constitution? So when you talk about James Madison was 18 years old, yeah, that just goes to show the balls he had at 18 years old to stand up against the greatest empire the world had ever seen. And then he wrote the Constitution at what, 29, 30? Now are we acting like 29 and 30 is not good? That's not smart enough? That's not mature enough? You dumb fucking TikTok broad. Go back to making dances. I'm fired up. I'm on one. This lawfare has got me fired up. Not like this. We can't go out like this. Not lawfare. We don't drop the sun on Japan twice and then fizzle out in the night with fucking prosecutors and lawfare. We don't beat back the Nazi military machine with the greatest amphibious landing in the history of man, the greatest armada ever built, to get beat by some fucking prosecutor and some articles of impeachment. Not like this. Not like this. To have our kids be indoctrinated by these commies in our schools. Not like that. Come on. We're better than that. If we're going to go out with a bang. If we're going to go down, let's go down with a story worthy of this great American experiment. Not because we were too lazy and too apathetic and we trusted the media and we believed in our elections. Not like that, guys. Please. We deserve a better ending than that. But I just don't know if we're willing to write it. I'm Gerard Michaels. This has been Gerard versus Evil. Thanks for everybody that's listening. We're going to do it more starting soon. We're going to be going to 3 days a week and then hopefully 5 days a week. Check me out this week. I'm going to be telling jokes because I'm in such a happy mood. Tomorrow night at Boca Raton at Sad Man Comedy Club. Then I'm at Helium, St. Louis on Sunday. And then I'll be at Oklahoma City and Tulsa next week as well with the great Carol Ann Miljavic. I love y'all. I really do. I love y'all. I love this country. And I'm telling you, man, we deserve better than what we're getting. But if we don't demand better, we're not going to get better. We all get the world we allow. We don't get the world we deserve. We get the world we allow. Peace.
Everyone's a victim!